In the city of Ravent, where neon lights illuminate dark streets and high skyscrapers hide many secrets, a hacker named Amber lived to steal information from one of the largest corporations in the city. Her fame as the best hacker was well known in the cyber world. Once she received an order, the customer remained anonymous, and this was one of the conditions of the transaction. Amber spent several days carefully preparing for the task. She created a plan, thought through all possible risks, and set up her equipment. Finally, the day of the operation came. Having penetrated the internal systems of the corporation, it stole the necessary data and disappeared, leaving no trace. When Amber returned to her hiding place, she realized that her actions had not gone unnoticed. A considerable reward was announced for her, a huge amount of gold crowns, for which any bounty hunter could be tempted. Her name and photo instantly appeared in the Guild of Bounty Hunters, and the hunt began. Amber quickly realized that staying in her hiding place was dangerous. She packed everything she needed in a backpack and set off on her motorcycle. Sitting on her bike, the girl felt the strength and power of her steel comrade, who roared as she accelerated through the chaotic movement of the city. She rushed to the underground and illegal city of smugglers. She was pursued, but she was nimble. Maneuvering through narrow streets and deserted alleys, she was able to temporarily break away from her pursuers. Knowing that she would not last long on the surface, Amber went to the underground city of Shedov Haven, a place where those who sought salvation from persecution were hiding. It was a place of dark tunnels, illegal markets, and smugglers, hidden from the eyes of ordinary residents of the cyber metropolis. Here she hoped to find shelter and the opportunity to sit out and sell the stolen information. The underground city met her with a unique atmosphere of serenity and independence. Shedov Haven was a city of free and freedom-loving people. These were the possessions of one of the bosses of the Shadow Master Metropolis. Here reigned their laws, and woe to those who break them. There were rumors that the owner of the underground cyber world is not quite a man, but a combat android with a human soul. But these are just rumors. Amber was looking for someone who could buy the stolen data. Of course, she refused to sell to the customer, because of him she is in trouble. The girl knew that it was risky, but the money was needed to escape and fulfill her dreams. While the hacker was looking for a buyer, the mercenaries did not stand still. In the Guild of Bounty Hunters, received a contract for the head of a living or dead Amber. They used every possible resource to find her. Her every move was threatened. She was forced to be extremely careful, avoiding any suspicious places. Amber, of course, quickly found a potential buyer, or rather, he found her, because information about the hacker and her prey had long reached those who were interested. It turned out to be one of the famous Cyber City smugglers named Shade. Amber heard about him, that he honestly conducts his transactions. Shade was just an intermediary, as the hacker guessed, but she did not care, because in addition to a wonderful reward, he promised complete protection in the Shedov Haven territory for a while. They agreed to meet in the famous nightclub of the underground city of Elysium. Amber gave the data to smuggler Shade and received her reward. But she understood that this was only the beginning. She knew that bounty hunters would continue. the pursuit until the bounty on her head was removed. Now, with money in hand, she had to find a way to escape the city forever. No one knew, but the real buyer of the data was Shadow Master. He immediately realized what kind of information came to him, because it was his past. The hacker did not even realize how priceless the treasure was, the data. In fact, these were many years of experiments and developments in the field of cybernetics. In the laboratories of the corporation, implants, androids, and their improved combat concepts were investigated. The corporation has already used the best prototypes for its needs. She turned to Sint, an old friend who knew the underground city best. Sint was a cyber implant dealer, and his business flourished thanks to a not always legal range of goods. But in Shedov Haven, it didn't bother anyone. Together with Amber, using their knowledge of underground tunnels, they developed the most detailed plan for the hackers' escape far beyond the metropolis. Bounty hunters quickly and defiantly invaded the territory of Shedov Haven. Before the invasion, the mercenaries were warned that they were unwanted guests here. But they did not take the threat seriously, for which they paid. Underestimating his opponent, the soldiers of luck fell into traps prepared in advance. They were met by the elite detachment of the ruler of Shedov Haven, called the Shadow Hounds. The Shadow Warriors were elite fighters with cybernetic implants, trained to confront police special forces and invade an underground city. The Shadow Hound squad ruthlessly dealt with the arrogant aggressors. Their tactical genius and cybernetic improvements gave them an advantage that the mercenaries could not predict. None of the mercenaries returned to base that night. Shedov Haven again demonstrated that his defenders do not forgive those who challenge them. Amber quickly started the engine of her motorcycle, and its roar filled a narrow tunnel. She and Sint skillfully maneuvered through dark passages, knowing that every turn could be the last chance for freedom. Secret tunnels were her only path to salvation, and every meter removed her from danger. The city was left behind. Sint left her by the tunnel and disappeared into the shadows. Finally, she drove to the surface, breathing in a fresh night wind. The feeling of uncertainty and new challenges ahead made Amber's heart beat faster. She knew that this was only the beginning of a new story.